Marlins Park tonight. Roof closed. Open all day, letting the sunshine in. They shuttered about 4. The Braves are in town for a 3-game series, 6-game homestand. Look at the Marlins right now at 7 under. The Braves 9 over. And Atlanta trying to hang on the wild card, make a run at the Washington Nationals as the Fish and the Braves renew acquaintances. And Josh Johnson gets the baseball for the Fish. Rich Walks along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to Miami. When you underperform, and by all accounts the Marlins certainly have done that, they are 7 under, you become the subject of trade rumors. And the Marlins have been in the crosshairs of a lot of teams the last week. Moments ago, it was reported by Fox Sports and a lot of other media outlets, the Marlins have not confirmed this, that the Marlins have made a trade with the Detroit Tigers. And it sends a couple of Marlins, Omar Infante and Anibal Sanchez, to the Tigers. Jacob Turner, the big piece in that. And you've got a guy that's close to ready, a left-handed hitting catcher, Rob Brantley, and a left-handed hard-throwing kid in Brian Flynn.
Yeah, we're to assume this has gone down. Omar Infante taken out of the lineup. And a lot of times it's because of a physical. Maybe Anibal Sanchez has to go through a physical for the Tigers. But if, in fact, it's a trade that is completed, Jacob Turner gives the Marlins a very solid young pitcher. He pitched the other day. He beat the White Sox in his third outing with the Tigers this year. And Rob Brantley, the other youngster, a left-handed hitting catcher, comes with very high ratings from a Tiger scout that we know very well.
The Marlins have just confirmed that trade is official. We went to talk about the right-hander who just got his first win against the White Sox, and a lot of the scouts have said he is special. And if he is, that's a nice boost for the Marlins.
Well, it's a young pitcher that, if he comes here, is going to get an opportunity every 5 days, too.
All right, here are the pitchers that you'll see tonight. Josh Johnson making start number 20, and Mike Minor, his third start against the Fish.
Yeah, Minor's previous 2 starts were each against Mark Burley. This time he goes against the big righty. Josh Johnson, amongst all National East teams, has the best ERA against the Atlanta Braves.
So we'll have more on the trade, and of course we've got a ball game to play. The Marlins and the Braves getting ready here at Marlins Park. Miami back home at Marlins Park. Trade has been stamped official by the Marlins moments ago. Let's go out to Craig Minervini and Cliff Floyd.
Well, thank you very much, Rich. And yes, it is now an official deal. The Marlins have confirmed what we've been talking about for the last 40 minutes or so. That is Anibal Sanchez and Omar Infante going to Detroit for the lead man, prospect Jacob Turner. First, let's talk about the Marlins that are departing. Sanchez had a very nice run here, starting with his first ever start at Yankee Stadium when he was called up and really did very well and progressed in the last few years.
Yeah, I like that part, the progress part. You know, he's gotten better each year. His strikeouts have gone up, his walks have gone down. You see the progress that you want to see from a young guy moving forward. I've always liked him. You know, you hear when Infante to me is a stud. You know, I like what he brings to the team. He brings experience. He brings quality. He's going to give you everything he has every single night, and he plays again in the right way.
The Marlins also getting, as you see under their minor league catcher, Rob Brantley and Brian Flynn, a pitcher and a compensation pick. Let's talk about Turner. He's the focus for the Marlins to make this kind of deal. He's a stud in his own right coming out. He's a first-round pick, number 9 overall. Certainly hasn't proven himself at the major league level, but he's got big-time major league stuff. He's a guy you were well aware of.
Right. Well, you know, I heard a lot about him in the offseason. You know, he's supposed to be everything that Detroit wanted. You know, a lot of teams asked about him. He was supposed to be going to the Cubs, and you know, before the season started, it was supposed to be like a Matt Garza, a Ryan Dempster type of thing going to the Cubs for it. They wanted experience. They didn't know if Jacob Turner was ready. You know, but you know, he has everything that you want from a major league pitcher. 6'5", he throws hard, he has a two-seamer, he has a curveball. Everything needs to be polished up a little bit. We all know that. You have to be patient with this kid. You know, he's in the learning trenches, and then when you're in that learning process, it takes time. I know one thing: we lost 2 quality guys. Hopefully, he doesn't feel the pressure of that. He can come in and give the Marlins a boost.
All right, we don't know if he's going to come right here yet. The Marlins, I'm assuming, are going to comment on that. We'll get that for you during the game. Larry Beinfest will be talking in just a few moments, and we should have some reaction coming up probably early in the ball game. But Jacob Turner is a Marlin. All right, more coming up on our broadcast and the ball game. Braves Marlins, game 1 of this 3-game series. Coming up with Rich and Tommy.
Sports Florida, brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Marlins Park, ready to go. Come on inside. Josh Johnson getting ready to face Michael Bourne. And the first pitch from JJ is a strike, brought to you by Pinch a Penny. Martin Prado, Jason Hayward will follow for the Braves, winners of 11 of their last 15. Breaking ball for a strike. JJ, his 20th start of the season. Certainly the Braves, no stranger to Johnson, and an experience JJ's had many times facing Atlanta.
Yeah, and certainly he's no mystery to Atlanta, but he's been a mystery the way he's pitched. He's 5-4 in his 16 career starts against the Braves, but an ERA of 2.29.
Born a breaking ball right back to Johnson, who picks it up, flips it on over to first, and gets that first out. Here's the Braves lineup. Braves coming off a 4-game split with the Washington Nationals. Michael Bourne, Martin Prado, and Jason Hayward. Chipper Jones having a great season. Freddie Freeman's starting to get hot, and so is Brian McCann. Dan Uggla's struggling right now. Paul Janisch is manning shortstop, and Mike Minor hits ninth.
You know, you knew pregame that something was going on, Rich, when you saw Anibal Sanchez and Omar Infante hugging Prado and some of the other Braves players.
Johnson misses down low, and here is Prado. Of course, both Prado and Infante, teammates in Atlanta, all three Venezuelan. Infante came to the Braves from the Tigers, where he started. He kind of interned under Placido Polanco up there. Here's the 2-0 pitch.
You know what's interesting when you think about those three guys? Polanco, Prado, Infante, very, very similar in their approach, the way they play the game.
Hard-nosed, versatile. They can play all over the field. And wherever they play, wherever Prado plays, wherever Infante has played, and Polanco, very good defensively. I mean, Polanco's won Gold Gloves at 2 different infield spots. Prado puts a charge in that one. And that's Ruggiano out there. With the lineup change and with the trade, Ruggiano finds himself in center. Let's find out who else is out there.
Yeah, the defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. It's kind of changed things around a little bit. Kearns gets in the lineup. He's in right. And Emilio Bonifacio moves into second base. Donovan Solano with the start tonight. Ozzie has said Hanley will be back in there tomorrow. And Hanley also available if he's needed to pinch hit.
Hayward tries to bunt and pops it foul. Solano came in from third. Jason Hayward in the 3 spot. Braves playing well. And right now in the middle of the race, the Marlins having fallen 11.5 back. Well, the Braves are 3.5 back, but at 52-43. The Marlins just saw up close and personal the team that Freddie Gonzalez is trailing in the wild card, the Pittsburgh Pirates. There's a fastball for a strike. But at 52-44, or 52-43, the Braves are a half game ahead of the Dodgers and behind the Pirates in the wild card slotting right now.
Yeah, and watching JJ early on, the fastball has some life. He's throwing some real nice curveballs as well.
2-2. High fastball. He struck him out. 93 miles an hour for JJ. Marlins coming up. We'll talk more about the trade with the Tigers when we return. Braves and the Pitch begin their 3-game series. Marlins lineup, obviously Infante taken out of the lineup about an hour before game time. Jose Reyes, Donovan Solano is at third base. Carlos Lee at first. Justin Ruggiano moves over to center. Logan Morrison in left. And Emilio Bonifacio comes from center to second. That put Austin Kearns in the lineup. John Buck. And then Josh Johnson hits ninth. And there is Mike Minor about to make his third start of the year against the Miami Marlins. Minor at 5-6. One of those wins and one of those losses came against the Marlins. Minor, first-round draft pick. In fact, he was the 7th overall pick in the 2009 draft.
Interesting, too. He's had a couple of starts already against the Marlins. One good, one not so good. In his 2 starts, he's gone 9 2/3, given up 10 hits and 7 runs. So the Marlins have gotten to him. Both of those starts were against Mark Burley.
Jose Reyes, Donovan Solano, and Carlos Lee. So you've got Minor here, who was the 7th overall pick in the 2009 draft. And the right-handed starter that the Marlins just acquired was selected 2 picks later. He was the 9th overall pick, was Turner by the Tigers. Reyes goes after a high breaking ball and fouls it back. It's 1-2.
I think one thing for the Marlins to get things going, and especially against a left-hander, they need to get a few hitters who've not hit well against left-handed pitching. Need to get those guys on track. Jose Reyes, just a .229 hitter this year against lefties. He's better than that in his career.
Fights off another breaking ball and fouls it off. It will be interesting to see how the ball club reacts. Infante, such a rock at second base. Sanchez, a durable and dependable starter with a low ERA. Obviously 2 pieces that the Tigers coveted. Reyes knocks that one into center field. It's a base hit. Sometimes when a trade like this happens, it lights a fire under a ball club. Obviously the Marlins will have to wait and see, and then we'll see who replaces Sanchez in the rotation. Here's the defense for the Atlanta Braves.
Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Prado, Bourne, and Hayward. Good speed in the outfield. Chipper Jones at third. Paul Yanish, we saw him with the Reds. Dan Uggla at second. Freddie Freeman, the first baseman, and Brian McCann behind the plate. Jose Reyes now, Rich, with that base hit, 11 consecutive games.
Minor has a very good move to first. Opponents are 7 of 8 against him in stolen bases this year. Donovan Solano starting at third base, and he was in the original starting lineup. Hanley Ramirez took batting practice, is available to pinch hit, and has said that he expects to start tomorrow.
Yeah, and I know we had a chance to talk to him around the batting cage. He was happy at the way the hand was healing. The swelling was down. Took a lot of batting practice today, and yeah, he's available tonight to pinch hit.
Hit and run, and Solano delivers into right field, a base hit. Just another example of every time the Marlins ask Donovan Solano to do something different, he does it, and he does it well.
Well, let's see. We want you to play left. Hey, we want you to play third. Well, maybe we'll have you at second. How about we'll have you hit and run on a fastball up out over the plate? Huge hole on the right side, and Solano just continues to impress.
And so the inning sets up now with runners at the corners, and here's Carlos Lee. Minor to the plate, and Lee takes a strike. Looking back at the Pirates series, you want to look back and see what each hitter did. Jose Reyes probably had the best offensive series for the Marlins, but he didn't have a lot of company. The Marlins obviously struggled against the Pirates, swept in 3 games in Pittsburgh.
Well, and then that was the good, and then there was a little bad. Remember, Reyes got picked off yesterday. That kind of set the tone in the first inning after he got his base hit.
Well, a base hit here by Carlos Lee would set a nice tone for the Marlins to come out and score first against the Braves, a hot team. Solano's at first, Minor to the plate, and Lee takes down low.
The other thing, Rich, when you see your starter go out there and have the kind of inning that Josh Johnson had, and then you can come back and score, that sets a nice tone as well.
We will have Larry Beinfest, Marlins president of baseball operations, here in a moment. He is speaking to the media. Our Craig Minervini is there, and he will shed some more light on the deal, maybe some more light on Jacob Turner and some of the others. The more you read about Jacob Turner, the more you like some of the guys he worked with in high school, Todd Worrell and Mike Matheny. He was at Westminster Christian in St. Louis, so a St. Louis guy.
First innings have been a problem this year for Mike Minor.
The 2-2. Little check swing and a pop-up. Giannis goes out, and it's going to fall. Not a thing of beauty, but El Caballo gets himself an RBI single. And Solano moves up 90 feet. He's at second. Reyes comes across to score.
The beauty of making contact. Pretty good pitch by Minor. Breaking ball. It was down about ankle high. Our Toyota Foxmo giving you a great look at that. And Carlos Lee stayed on it, just tried to make contact. And that's a nice lob, isn't it, Rich? If your opponent charges the net, you just want to lob it that way?
Or one of your pitching wedges just inside the pin.
Very similar.
There you go. Except we don't get RBIs with it. Swing and a miss by Ruggiano. The trade of Infante affects a lot of guys on the field. And I think one of them is Ruggiano, because Bonifacio, at least in the short term, is going to be at second base a lot, which means the Marlins need someone to play center field. And Ruggiano certainly has earned the playing time and has the skills to play center field.
Yeah, he has shown in the opportunities that he's had this year. He's played all three outfield positions, but he's shown that he can play center field. I tell you, he's also shown he can hit lefties. He's hit over 400 against lefties.
Ball and a strike to Ruggiano. And Minor with a changeup misses outside. So the Braves are here for 3. They're hot. They're in the thick of the race in both the East and in the wild card. Currently occupying the number 2 spot, the wild card. And that'll get you in that one-game playoff. Ground ball short. Giannis, Uggla's turn is in time. And Ruggiano bounces into a double play. Up comes Morrison with Solano at third. And 2 outs. Scanner report on Mr. Minor.
Let's check it out. It's brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Left-hander has sink. What left-hander doesn't? He does have that 12-6 downer curveball. Mixes pitches well. We've seen a little change up. You mentioned, Rich, a good move to first base. So the 24-year-old lefty out of Vanderbilt.
Grew up in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Morrison now. Almost a get-me-over breaking ball for a strike. And it's 0-1. Look at Logan Morrison against the Braves. Bottom line, 0 for 16.
Well, in 27 games against Atlanta, just a 175 average.
Minor figures he spin another one up there, and he misses outside.
Just thinking about that trade, Ichiro going to the Yankees. The Yankees are in Seattle, so an easy move for Ichiro.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's a strike. And it's 1-2. We'll have that Larry Beinfest press conference momentarily. Craig Minervini is with him. One question to be answered: does Jacob Turner join the rotation, or would Wade LeBlanc slide in?
That would be another choice.
1-2 pitch misses outside. LeBlanc, of course, had the great spring, pitched well in AAA, and has pitched nicely in a variety of roles for Miami since he's come back up. Morrison scalds one to first. Well, he isn't having real good luck lately. He hit a couple balls on the nose yesterday in Pittsburgh. Fish get a run. Reyes, Solano, and Carlos Lee. To you by the fine folks at H.H. Gregg. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini. Our Coventry Healthcare second, 1-0. Miami has given Josh Johnson a 1-run lead. He goes back to work on some hot hitters in the Braves order: Chipper Jones, Freddie Freeman, and Brian McCann. And of course, Chipper Jones takes the ball. Chipper, an all-star and relatively healthy. He's had some time that he's missed, but I think the Braves have to be pretty happy with what they've been able to get out of Chipper thus far this year, Tommy.
Well, he's batting over 300. He's contributed 40 RBIs. Said his all-star experience was just tremendous, and also got a chance to play in a ballpark he'd never played in before in Kansas City. 19-year major league career, home runs and RBIs. That was his 8th All-Star game, and he was the MVP in '99.
So in Kansas City, he got to play in the All-Star game. He never played at Kauffman Stadium. He has never played here.
This is his first game playing here.
He was here as a spectator, but not as a player, and Johnson gets him on a breaking ball. Chipper swings and misses. JJ has struck out 2 in a row, and up comes Freddie Freeman.
Not too often do you see Chipper Jones look this badly on a swing, and that's a good pitch, and he fooled Chipper on that one.
A guy that hasn't been fooled a whole lot in his long career. Here's Freeman now. Freddie Freeman, remember the last time the Braves were here, hurt his hand sliding into second on a double play ball. His hand was up, I believe it was his right hand was up, and was hit on the relay throw and had to come out of the ball game. That slowed him down. but he's been hot and just snapped an 11-game hit streak on Saturday.
Yeah, they've had a couple of guys. McCann, who's on deck, he had an 11-gamer just snapped.
Carlos Lee way off to get it. JJ's over, and he steps on the bag. 2 outs here in the second. McCann coming up, and your chance to play catch with Logan Morrison's coming up. Log on, JiffyLubeMarlins.com. Chance to enter and play catch with Lomo. 2 lucky winners will be selected to play catch on the field with Lomo prior to the game on July 27th. Jiffy Lube, the official oil change of the Miami Marlins.
Well, you got to love the pace and the way that Josh Johnson's working.
McCann had an 11-game hit streak snapped on Saturday, and it was with a pinch hitting appearance. And he's been on a home run binge himself. Big swing and a miss. 1-2. Two and two. In that 11-game hit streak, McCann had 7 home runs and 16 runs driven in. The Braves had a 7-game win streak going into the series against the Giants. Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves played a dramatic 3-game series against the Giants with lots of comebacks and wild swings. Giants won 2 of the 3. Reyes cuts in front, makes the play, flips to first, and Josh Johnson sails through the first 6 hitters he's faced. The second. Let's go out to Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, Rich, thank you very much. We just had a chance to talk with Larry Beinfest. We'll try to get some of his reaction on for you in just a moment. But the Marlins president of baseball operations was talking about the trade that we talked about earlier, sending Anibal Sanchez and Omar Infante to Detroit for Jacob Turner, a very high prospect pitcher who's major league ready, and catcher Rob Brantley, among other factors in the deal. One of the things Larry told us was that the Chicago series he felt was sort of the straw that broke the back here to see the Marlins go there and win only 1 of 2. And then he said put a cherry on top with the Pirates series, describing the 2 series and the season as incredibly frustrating that the team is basically on the outside looking in of not only forget first place, he said, but even the wild card. We're on the periphery at best. And he said they had to do something. They've been looking at deals, started talking with the Tigers right after the Cubs series, and made the deal. He feels like Turner could be up here very soon. Right now they're going to put him in AAA just for a few starts. He hopes, get a look at him there, and hope to get him up here. He's got a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, go up to 98 as well. I asked him if Brantley is a potential starting catcher. He said absolutely, a key to the deal, a left-handed hitting catcher. We do see him as a potential starter for us. So two guys who are on the verge, real close, and he also likes the 6'8 lefty they picked up as well in the draft. Those are a few of the highlights. More coming up in a moment.
All right, Craig, thanks. Yeah, Brian Flynn is that 6'8 lefty. He's out of Wichita State and is just 22 and just got promoted to AA. And those of you that follow the Florida State League and have a chance to watch some of those games and follow that league, Flynn was in Lakeland and was 8-4 with a 3.71 ERA, earning a promotion to AA.
And tomorrow night on Email Twitter Tuesday, we're going to have Larry Beinfest with us, and we can delve into that deal a little bit more.
Bonifacio takes a breaking ball down low. And it's 3-2. Yeah, tomorrow night, emails and tweets and Larry Beinfest. So good timing on that. And then Craig will have some sound from Larry Beinfest. Lots going on in baseball. We've talked about the Marlins trade. Ichiro's been traded to the New York Yankees for a couple of prospects. Bonifacio, left field and deep. Back goes Prado. That is gone! His first of the season. Boy, wake up the Clevelander. That's not a guy you expect to put one out there by the pool.
I think when you get a guy like Bonifacio at the plate, it might be when you take a moment to go up and get yourself a beverage. But all of a sudden, look out. As a right-handed batter, we've talked about it a lot, a little more pop from Bonifacio from that side of the plate. And he came into this game another one of those switch hitters along with Reyes that's not hit lefties that well this year. So that's good to see.
Here's Austin Kearns, and Minor misses outside. So for the first time, Bonifacio getting to use his home run trot this year.
And Bonifacio now 5 for 12 in his career against Mike Minor. A Clevelander Loviste.
Well, here's Kearns, and he's the guy that came in the lineup once Infante came out of the lineup. And he lines it out to Hayward and right. And there's one out, and here is John Buck. Two 2-0, Miami on top. Carlos Lee with an RBI single in the first. The other deal that has actually, the two deals that have taken place, the Marlins trade with the Tigers and the Yankees trade with Seattle, those came as surprises because everyone felt coming to the ballpark that the Braves would acquire Ryan Dempster.
That was all the talk when we arrived at the ballpark. And that one seems to have cooled, but it almost seemed like it was a done deal at the time. But not the case now, and it still could be.
There were published reports this morning that the Boston Red Sox were looking long and hard at both Anibal Sanchez and Josh Johnson. Buck hits one into left center field. Bourne covers a lot of ground out there, and Michael Bourne runs it down. Who knows, by the end of the night, maybe the Braves will make a deal. Maybe Ryan Dempster will be here for the last two games of the series.
Always good to see Demp.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Now JJ, just a 1 for 27 season right now for Josh Johnson. So he's trying to find a groove at the plate as well. He's a guy that early in his career actually showed some power, hitting 3 home runs in a season. But the back injury that he suffered in 2010, midway through 2010, remember the Marlins shut him down at the last month of that season.
I think one of the keys for JJ this year is that he's shown durability. He's gone out there tonight on the year making his 20th start. It's a far cry from the 9 starts he made last year.
A swing and a miss. Minor throws a fastball by him, but he didn't throw a fastball by Emilio Bonifacio. A solo shot, 2-0.
You have the fastball working and in location. That can help you get a lot of outs. He's thrown some good fastballs tonight. The slider breaks away from right-handers. That can be a tough pitch. It's also tough to lefties. Now you throw in the curveball. He's thrown some good ones tonight. It also surprises and changes the eye level of a lot of hitters. So JJ tonight so far got the toolbox out.
He's retired all 6 that he's faced. Dan Uggla, Paul Janisch, and Mike Minor. It's ironic that on the night that the Marlins trade Omar Infante to the Detroit Tigers, that Dan Uggla is in the house. Of course, Uggla and Infante, key pieces in the trade that the Marlins and the Braves made before last season. Uggla struggling right now at 217, a dozen homers. He's driven in 46. And of course, the last time Uggla was here, he introduced himself to the home run sculpture and left, hitting one into the sun. Well, actually off of the sun. Pulls that one into the dugout.
Yeah, he's cooled off somewhat since that appearance here. At 6 hits in that series.
JJ's fastball is up and in. Uggla turns away, and the count's 2-2. One of the pitchers that the Marlins received in that trade from the Tigers out of Oklahoma. And so maybe he and Josh Johnson we'll have some things to chat about. That's Brian Flynn, who went up and played his college ball up in Wichita, Kansas at Wichita State. Uggla sends a drive to right center field. Long run. Ruggiano reaches and makes the catch. Whoa! That's a long way to go. And not until the very end did you think he had a chance to catch it.
Hey, a little Oviste, too. And you notice Austin Kearns looking at him with a smile saying, how'd you get to that ball? Yeah, you're right. A long way to go. And then after a couple of steps on the warning track, making the reach and the catch. Nicely done. JJ loved it, too.
Paul Janisch. Janisch filling a gap at shortstop. Andrelton Simmons injured right now.
Boy, and he looked good. Remember, he had just been called up, Andrelton Simmons, and played that series here in Miami.
Janisch, a guy that the Marlins saw in Cincinnati. In fact, his first major league hit in his major league debut was a game-winning hit against Reniel Pinto.
Yeah, drove a line drive down the right field line.
Remember that night, his mom actually drove up from wherever the Reds AAA outpost was at that time. It might have been Louisville. Roller down the third base line, foul. I will say this, Tommy Hutton, the infield grass, the outfield grass, much improved here at Marlins Park.
Yeah, with the roof open for the most part, getting some sunshine, getting a little water.
Liner to left, and it's foul. Yeah. Good breaking ball. Larry Beinfest, Marlins president of baseball operations, on the Marlins mentality going into this trade with the Tigers.
Let's face it, the current group that was here was not winning. So, we could stay put and just hope, but I think it's enough sample size in this season to say, wow, these problems are real. We're not winning at what we need to. We've lost contact with the division. We've pretty much lost contact with the wild card. We better think about doing something else, and that's where we are.
Simply stated by Larry Beinfest, and he makes a great point.
It will be interesting to see if this is the first of a few moves or if this is the only thing the Marlins do. I would expect there'll be another, especially from that comment saying that this group was not winning.
Yeah, I would expect something else. And the other thing about Anibal Sanchez, he's going to Detroit, but he'll probably be a free agent after the year, unless all of a sudden talks are created with his agent and the Tigers to extend his contract. But he's a free agent after this season. And Omar Infante had one more year on a 2-year contract.
Anibal Sanchez will be addressing the media shortly, and we have a camera headed in his direction as well. 2-1 pitch. Little tap or foul. Of course, the rules changed this year. In years past, were the Tigers not to re-sign Sanchez at the end of this 2012 season, they would get draft picks as compensation. That is no longer the case. You have to be with the team for a full season for that team to qualify for those picks, and that team has to make a qualifying offer to that player as well. Minor up there with the count 2-2. Got him. Breaking ball. Josh Johnson, first time through, has struck out 4. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Papa John's, get $10 for a Papa John's new chicken Parmesan pizza. For $2 more, get any large pizza. And by Nissan, get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan's Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. In Miami tonight, the Marlins have made a trade with the Detroit Tigers, and they lead the Atlanta Braves by a score of 2-0. Jose Reyes, second time through against Mike Minor. Reyes singled in the first. Donovan Solano, a hit-and-run single. Carlos Lee, an RBI single. That's how Miami got their first run. And an Emilio Bonifacio solo homer, the second run. Breaking ball misses down low. The Marlins sending Omar Infante and Anibal Sanchez to the Tigers. Jacob Turner, a 21-year-old right-hander, 9th overall pick in 2009, who just got to the big leagues and just got his first big league win. He's probably the headliner in the trade, but Rob Brantley, a left-handed hitting catcher out of the University of California, Riverside, 3rd round pick. Guy that a good catch and throw guy, good contact hitter. Brian Flynn, a 6'8" left-hander out of Wichita State.
And I think, Rich, with the struggles of John Buck, it's certainly an area that the Marlins were looking for a little help in that catching department. A couple of quality guys, there's no question, with Omar and Anibal Sanchez. We saw Sanchi grow up. We saw him make his Major League debut at Yankee Stadium and win that game.
Reyes hits one to left center field. Bourne and Prado converge. And Bourne is there to make the catch.
We saw Sanchi throw a no-hitter. And I think we saw the last couple of years, saw him really mature and improve, keep his health. Everything was out of the way as far as elbow and shoulder. And 30 or more starts each of the last 2 seasons. Is on his way to do that again this year.
Tico standings. Larry Feinfest was mentioning the Marlins way out in the East. They're 11.5 back. The Braves are the second wild card, so do the math. Miami is 8 back for that last wild card spot.
I like the way Larry stated it. Out of touch.
Solano guides one Ugla's way, and he throws him out by a couple steps. There are 2 outs here in the 3rd. There we go. Jack McKeon, Bill Beck, 2 baseball legends. 2 guys that were together with the Royals organization.
And then also with San Diego's organization.
And then here with the Marlins. In fact, wasn't it Bill Beck that picked up Jack McKeon from the airport the night Jack flew in to become the manager of the Marlins?
Yeah, they've been longtime friends. A lot of baseball talk between those 2 guys.
Carlos Lee, an RBI single. That back in the... A pop-up that dropped into shallow left field. Minor misses away. The count is 2-0. The Cole Hamels talks apparently have reached the delicate stage. So it sounds like the Phillies and Hamels are down to some final details. Chopper to Chipper, and he throws him out. 1, 2, 3 go the fish in the 3rd, and it's 2-0 Miami. Fourth inning means trivia. AT&T brings you trivia. We flip the phone. 1986, the Fort Lauderdale Yankees. Freddie Gonzalez was a teammate of which future Florida Marlin?
Well, let's see. Coming up in the Yankee organization, Freddie, of course, a catcher. Also managed the first Marlins minor league team.
He and Carlos Tosca were both managers in the Marlins organization.
Let's see how this second time around, if the Braves make any adjustments, if JJ stays with his game plan.
Michael Bourne bounced out in the first. Martin Prado, Jason Hayward also coming up in the fourth. Johnson has 4 strikeouts, and he hasn't walked anybody. As Tommy pointed out, Johnson's record against the Braves not indicative of how he's pitched in his career against the Braves. Nasty bite on the slider. And so 5 strikeouts, and this looks like vintage Josh Johnson.
Well, we talked about his ERA career-wise against Atlanta, 2.29. That's the best ERA against any National League East team. He also has compiled more strikeouts against the Braves than any team in the National League East. Overall, he's 5-4.
A 17th start, but just 5-4. And a strike to Prado. You talked about the strikeouts for Johnson. He's got 118 career strikeouts in only 104 innings against Atlanta. Prado went around. On Foxmo, watch this tumbling action of the slider. That's a great look.
Yeah, it's a good look. Hitters say they look for that dot. If you can pick up the dot of the slider, that helps a little bit. But you know what? When it's a good one like that, it doesn't matter.
High fastball, and Prado bangs it foul right side.
You know, you and I talking with Freddie Gonzalez before the game. And the need right now for the Braves is a Ryan Dempster type, a veteran starter.
Boy, Josh Johnson is channeling the JJ of, what, 2010 when he led the National League in ERA. You can find your beach with the Marlins at Corona Light, offering 31 lucky Marlin fans the chance to win 4 tickets and a $100 Marlins merchandise gift card. Visit your local participating Navarro pharmacy. Look for the Corona Light display for details on how to enter and win. Relax responsibly. Hayward now. Johnson misses away. Hayward struck out back in the first. 6 strikeouts already for Johnson.
That's called burying a slider in on a left-hander. See, when we use those terms, we like to back it up with visuals. That was a great visual. Then he goes in with a fastball.
And the one thing we haven't seen from Johnson a whole lot this year that he was always known for is what they call swing and miss stuff. But he's got it tonight, and that's a gorgeous changeup, it looked like.
See, his changeup, you'd like to see it a little softer, but certainly that had effect. 89 on that last changeup.
2-2. And a ground ball Bonifacio's way. Flip it to first in time. JJ sails through the first 4. Brought to you by Total Recall in theaters August 3rd. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by Sagicor, plan a bright financial future today at SagicorLifeUSA.com. A little South Beach flavor for you on a Monday night with the Braves and the Marlins. And a 2-0 Miami lead right now. Josh Johnson has been splendid through 4.
Another term we use, locked in. JJ's locked in.
Of all the Marlins this last week, as the Fish were descending deeper in the division and in the wild card, of all the Marlins that were the most outspoken about stopping it and turning it around, Ruggiano lines that one down the right field line. That could stay fair. It does, and into the corner, and Ruggiano's got himself a double. 13 doubles for Ruggiano. He continues to hit, and he's in scoring position.
They came into the game hitting .425 against left-handed pitching, and he'll help that cause with this double. And I think you were leading toward Ruggiano, because I was talking to him before the game, and you know, the one thing that he kept stressing, he said, we just can't keep giving games away. Got to play better baseball.
And Josh Johnson said that on the road trip. Johnson said, look, we've got to stop the slide and just string some wins together. And Johnson turned the finger on himself and said, it starts with me. I have to be able to go deeper. I have to be able to win games. That's how you start winning streaks. JJ, his last 2 starts, he's lost 5-1 ball games to the Nationals and the Cubs. Morrison right now with the infield shifted over on the right side. He smoked a ground ball to the right side for an out. Sends this one in the air to shallow left center. And Bourne comes in and makes the catch. Have you got any idea on this trivia question?
Well, let's see. Al Leiter pitched for the Yankee organization and eventually pitched for the Marlins. I'm trying to figure out ages. Hey, how about that? Hey, I wanted to continue on my point when we talked to Freddie and he talked about his starting pitching. Minor has been inconsistent. His ERA is well over 5. A couple of guys he's really been able to rely on. Tim Hudson, Tommy Hanson, pretty good in his 20 starts. The Marlins will see Hudson and Hanson in this series. But after that, they're hoping that Ben Sheets, who's come out of nowhere and actually had 2 really good starts for the Braves, they're hoping he continues on. Jared Jurgens, who was sent down, now is back. He's not pitched well lately, so they could use that veteran pitcher.
Bonifacio homered in the second, and Minor's changeup floats outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Just to go back to the little things, though, and you don't want to put it on certain hitters, but there's an at-bat for Logan Morrison. Just do what he's done before. Gets the ball on the right side. All of a sudden, he's got Ruggiano at third base. And probably the Braves, the way JJ's pitching, bring the infield in.
All right. This is Emilio Bonifacio muscling up.
I got a great bit of trivia for you on Bonifacio. That's his 3rd career home run as a right-handed hitter. His first home run as a righty out of the ballpark. The other 2 were inside the Parkers.
Ruggiano is running, and a ground ball off of Minor. There's no way he'll get Bonifacio. That's good heads up. Ruggiano, we've seen him steal third numerous times already. When they don't pay attention to him, he'll take the base. And he had a very good jump.
Yeah, he's sneaking off. Didn't get a look from Minor. Ball stung by Bonifacio, and everybody's safe.
I believe one of those home runs right-handed was on opening day, his first game as a Marlin against the Nationals.
Yeah, the funny thing about Bonnie is that a couple of his home runs, he had more home runs out of the ballpark lefty, but he really has more pop from the right side.
Now, We told you Minor has a great move to first. Bonifacio would love to get to second and stay out of the double play. And with Austin Kearns up, Kearns line to left, his first time up. So this is it's a ticklish spot here for Minor and McCann and for Bonifacio. A snap throw is probably a better throw over for Minor, because if he uses the high leg kick and a slow move to first, and Bonifacio is running on first motion, then Ruggiano has a chance with a throw to second to steal home. Minor to the plate. Slow tapper. Giannis gets one. Ugla's turn is in time, and that's exactly what the Marlins didn't want to happen. Nice turn by Ugla and Giannis, and the Marlins come up empty in the fourth.
Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
In Miami, Subway fifth. 2-0 Marlins. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Marlins. Braves without a run, without a hit. Josh Johnson has struck out 6. And he gets Chipper Jones, Freddie Freeman, Brian McCann. 3 of the hotter Braves. Jones swings and misses. The slider has been so good that the curveball.
Yeah, he's got all 3, and he's mixed in a few changeups as well. So the whole repertoire.
He hasn't been afraid to throw the curve or the slider to lefties.
So he's thrown chipper, curveball, then slider.
Chipper Jones in his 19th year. And he pulls it foul. And not only is he climbing up the list, Chipper is on career numbers for third baseman, most RBIs by a third baseman.
He's made Chipper look bad twice.
Yes, he has. 7 strikeouts already for Josh Johnson.
This is vintage JJ. I hope you stay tuned. I hope you've been with us and watched, because all of them are working. You don't see Chipper Jones look bad 2 times in a row, and he has tonight.
Now Freeman. Fastball in on Freeman. Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight Player of the Game. Freddie Freeman. He and Giancarlo Stanton, I believe, played on the same area code team in Southern California. And was headed to Cal State Fullerton before he signed with the Braves. Breaking ball misses low. Freeman and the Braves come in at 52 and 43. a nice start for the Braves into the second half. They currently occupy the number 2 wild card spot in the National League, but they had an opportunity against the Nationals to shave a few games off that Nationals lead. Freeman goes around on a breaking ball by Josh Johnson. As it is, Atlanta comes in 3.5 behind the Nationals. The Braves lost the final 2 games of that 4-game set. 2-2 pitch. High fastball, got him. Josh Johnson has struck out 8 Atlanta Braves, and there are 2 outs here in the 5th. Chevron Ticket Wednesdays. Fill up with 8 gallons or more of Chevron with Techron gasoline. From now until the end of the season, get a voucher for a 50% discount off select Marlins 2012 Wednesday home game tickets. Stop in at any participating Chevron station.
JJ's career high in strikeouts is 12. And yes, it was against the Atlanta Braves.
Now McCann rips one into right field, and there's the first hit of the night for the Braves. Over to get it is Kearns. And McCann, who is one of the very hottest of Braves, is 1 for 2. So a 2-out single in the 5th. And now Johnson goes to work on his former teammate, Dan Uggla.
Now the crowd appreciating what JJ was able to do through 4 2/3 with the 8 strikeouts and then giving up that first base hit to McCann.
Uggla now with those Popeye arms takes down low. For Uggla, a nice start to the season. Remember the awful start he had last year, where he was all but buried in the first half, and he would have just an incredible run, almost getting the Braves to the postseason. Remember the Braves had the big collapse, the 8.5 game lead over St. Louis in the wild card.
You know, he did start better, but he's kind of tailed off lately because he's even been dropped in the order by Freddie Gonzalez.
Yeah, the last month and a half for Uggla has not been pretty. Pulls it hard on the ground to third. Solano goes the short way to Bonifacio, and the inning is over. Braves get their first hit, but Josh Johnson and Miami has a 2-0 lead.
Toyota.
Cookie and Raul join us.
Rich, Tommy, how are you?
Rich, Tommy, how are you guys?
Hey, we're doing well. Cookie, in our view, this looks like the best stuff we've seen JJ have all year.
You know, we were talking about with Raul before the game time, and I said, if he can go ahead and start throwing his curveball like he did a year or 2 years ago before he got hurt, that is going to be the big change for Johnson, and we have seen this tonight. I mean, he's at his best. So far, to me, the best start he had all year.
Unfortunately, I had just mentioned those same words you said, Tommy, and then McCann got the base hit, and there went the perfect game.
Well, then we can blame it on you.
I'll take this one. I'll take credit for this one.
Come on, there are no announcer jinxes, not even in Spanish.
Well, sometimes I try, but unsuccessful.
Here's John Buck, and obviously the big topic leading into this ball game, guys, the trade of Omar Infante and Anibal Sanchez. The Marlins getting 3 players and a compensation draft pick from the Detroit Tigers. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, it was very disappointing for the ball club the way they've been playing all year, and they're getting away from the division and also the wild card, and they had to do something. And I believe that Sanchez and Infante going to Detroit Tigers. The key there was Turner, I think, is the young right-hander that has great stuff, and he was one of the first picks, I think, by the 10th or 12th round of the Detroit Tigers. He's got great stuff. And a catcher, too, that I believe is going to be a good one. So I think that's the key 2 players for the Marlins planning for the future.
High pop-up. Ugla is there. And he makes the catch.
Rich, I think it'll be interesting to see if this will be it or if there will be other moves on the horizon. A lot of people first thought in their head is, oh, God, not again. But it seems like Larry and Mike are committed to making this happen here and being successful. So hopefully this might be an indication of rebuilding.
Yeah, I don't want to hear the term fire sale. It's not a fire sale. It's trying to – it's a ball club that's underachieved. It's a ball club that needed to have something done. And it's a process, but it isn't going to be a fire sale.
And I think we're getting in return some quality players. You know, Turner is a pretty good pitcher and very young. And I think that if he comes over and pitches the way that Johnson is doing tonight or had done in the past, you got 2 pretty good right-handers there, along with the Burley and then Olasco. So, and a good catcher that I think can develop pretty good into a very regular behind the plate. I believe they did a great job. So, and we wish Anibal and Infante both are going to be free agents, I believe, and an opportunity to go to a club that is going to be probably in the playoffs or maybe as far as they can get to the World Series.
Yeah, they're going to have some fun with Miggy over there.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Right. Both being from Venezuela, and they got a lot of Venezuelan there and Spanish guys, so they're going to feel comfortable there.
All right, guys, have a good show tonight.
You too.
You too, guys.
Tommy.
All right, thanks. Josh Johnson strikes out. Time now for the Jesserman Auto Stop foolproof stat. Brian McCann. See what the Braves do when he's hitting. Braves are depending on Brian McCann. You can depend on Jesserman Auto Stop for foolproof results. Here's Reyes now. His 3rd at bat. Singled and scored in the 1st. Flied to center in the 3rd. 2-0. Miami on top. And the Fish have had opportunities to add on, but they bounced into 2 double plays. Ruggiano a double play in the 1st, and Kearns a double play in the 4th.
In his own right, Mike Minor's throwing the ball pretty well tonight, too. Probably better than he threw in his previous 2 starts this year against the Marlins.
Runs that fastball in. So the Braves are in the market for a starter. Brian Dempster rumored to be traded at one point this afternoon. Not so traded a little bit later. It's I think Twitter was made for the baseball trading deadline and the week leading up, because the rumors get out like wildfire, and when someone gets pulled out of a lineup somewhere or a locker gets cleaned out like Carlos Lee,
it gets out there in a hurry.
It does. Pop up to first. Freeman is there, and he makes the catch. Marlins go down in order. Going to the 6th quickly, 2-0 Marlins. Irvini.
All right, guys, had a chance to talk with Anibal Sanchez a few moments ago as he's departed and off to Detroit. Here is his reaction to the trade tonight.
It's a great moment with the Marlins. You know, my debut in the Yankee Stadium. I know here in my first year, and 2010 is a great year for the team, for me, and you know, when I was healthy. I'm enjoying the teammate. I enjoy the team. I enjoy everything. And, you know, we passed for the last 3 years for a lot of moments, like good moments, bad moments, but the team is still here. You know, so everybody come to the field to play hard and do the job for win, and you know, that's a part of the bet.
Guys, I talked to both Omar and Anibal. Both were very professional. Both understood the business of baseball. Both had a great time here with the Marlins, both in the other stadium. Anibal talked about his no-hitter, Yankee Stadium, which we remember well when he got called up and pitched and won his first game. We'll have more in our post-game show as well. Very classy reaction from two really classy guys. As Larry Beinfest called two of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet. He said sometimes it's harder to deal with those guys and tell them that you've been traded. And by the way, as you talked about, Tommy and Larry echoed, this was a baseball deal today, very much so from the Marlins standpoint.
Infante has one more year on his contract, so he's under Tiger control. And who knows with Anibal Sanchez after a couple of months with the Tigers, maybe 3 if they do get into October. Nice play by Solano backing up on that grounder by Giannis. Who knows? Maybe Anibal Sanchez is out on the free agent market. Maybe the Tigers don't make a qualifying offer.
He'll slide into that rotation with Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. And all of a sudden, the Tigers, who were a little bit of a disappointment early on, but the Tigers now have taken over first place in that American League Central by a game and a half over the White Sox. And should hang on and win that.
Yes. As Minor steps in, the count's 1-0. An out here in the 6th. The other big trade of the night, Ichiro traded from Seattle to the Yankees. The Yankees are in Seattle. That made for a very convenient press conference with officials from both sides. Where do you think Ichiro is hitting in the order? I just saw the lineup.
Your first thought is maybe they could get him up top along with Jeter, first or second, or maybe they could hit him 9th to have back-to-back leadoff guys. Am I close?
You're close. and he's down in the lineup. He's hitting 8th.
Interesting.
And he's in the lineup tonight. How do I know that? I just got a tweet from my daughter who's in Seattle.
Staying on top of things.
That's right.
As all waltzes do.
Part of the crack staff tonight.
She's part of the crack staff.
That's
nice
right.
going. Jamie or Anna?
It's Jamie.
Okay. And we can't forget to slip in Fister, too, in that rotation.
Pitch to Bourne is outside.
So it'll be a circus in Seattle tonight.
Yes, it will be. I mean, he's played his entire career since coming over from Japan in Seattle, a city that has embraced him, though has not been able to win with him. And I think that's the key point.
How's that affect Swisher? He's been playing a lot of right field. Probably slide in DH a little bit more.
Yeah, and Ichiro's defensive skills have eroded over the last couple of years as well. So you might see Ichiro DH a little bit. Here's a 1-2.
And I think Swisher's hurt right now, too.
Breaking ball from JJ and another strikeout from Josh Johnson, who is just splendid tonight with a 2-0 lead. in Miami. A 3-game series opens tonight. Braves and Marlins. Craig Minervini, Cliff Floyd on Marlins Live after the ball game. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton with you here. Donovan Solano takes a breaking ball from Mike Minor for a strike. Miami has a 2-0 lead, and Josh Johnson has struck out 9 Braves through 6 innings. Solano has singled and bounced out.
JJ's equal his season high. And that was against the Atlanta Braves. So, I mean, this is a ball club that over the years, 5-4 record, but an ERA coming in at 2.29 and has compiled lots of strikeouts, more than 1 an inning.
One and two, Donovan Solano, Carlos Lee, Justin Ruggiano. If you are just happening by, a night of trades in baseball, including Miami. Miami sending Omar Infante back to his original team, the Detroit Tigers. Anibal Sanchez headed to the Tigers. The Marlins getting 3 players and a compensation pick from the Tigers. Breaking ball misses up. And the count full at 3-2. Jacob Turner, right now the closest to the big leagues. In fact, has been in the big leagues at 21.
Back in 2004, Omar Infante, in 142 games, hit .264, had 16 home runs for the Tigers.
We will have more of the Larry Beinfest press conference on Marlins Live after the ball game. We will also hear from Anibal Sanchez and Omar Infante.
And we will have Larry Beinfest on tomorrow night on Email Twitter Tuesday.
That is, unless something else happens tomorrow night. Soft fly ball. Bourne is calling, and he makes the catch. That man is a Gold Glover out there. Josh Johnson with a piece of ice in his hand. Not sure if he's got a piece of tape on that finger as well, almost like a gauze piece on one of the fingers on his throwing hand. Carlos Lee, RBI single, and he's bounced out. Carlos Lee bounces to short, and Paul Janisch throws him out. Whole question, 789-789. How do you feel about today's trade? M1, agree. M2, disagree. M3, surprised. M4, don't know. M5, just woke up.
Well, the tough part about trades. Let's see how I can say this as well as I can. A lot of times, the people you want to trade, nobody wants. So if you're going to make a trade, the other team wants somebody that is valuable. I mean, it's so easy for the fan to say, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy.
Ozzie Guillen right now talking with Josh Johnson. You saw Randy St. Clair on the phone, and the Marlins bullpen is getting up. And so there is an issue with that right hand of Josh Johnson.
Now that'll be great news for the Braves, just to see anybody other than Josh Johnson.
Mike Dunn is up. Your point is a good one. Fans immediately say, well, trade this guy and trade that guy because they're not playing very well,
yeah.
and you want them out of here. But the reason people call you and ask you if you're interested in trading isn't because they want the guys that you don't want. They want the guys that they want. And as I said at the outset of the telecast, when you underperform and you fall out of races, you become the teams that people call to see if anyone's available. Let's see if Josh Johnson comes out. Game is going to reset in more ways than one as Miami leads Atlanta right now 2-0. And here's the reason. Johnson has something wrong with that right hand. We're assuming it's a blister. We'll try to get further details. But Mike Dunn is in the game. Josh Johnson goes 6 innings, strikes out 9, and gives up just 1 hit, and he leaves with a 2-0 lead. Dunn will have as long as he wants to warm up on the mound right now. Let's, as we look at Dunn's numbers, give you a little more of Larry Beinfest and his press conference in meeting the media after the trade with the Tigers tonight.
Well, you know, I still believe in you know, I mean, we've got Jose Reyes here, and we have Giancarlo Stanton here, and, you know, I think Logan Morrison's, you know, there's a lot more bat there than what he's shown, and, you know, I think that Lomo can do it. So, you know, I like to believe that offensively we can still score runs, but, yeah, I mean, we have to be open to that, Clark. We have to say to ourselves, and we're there now, you know, what do we need to do? Because we're just not getting them in and we're not scoring enough. So I think we need to look at everything. Everything should be on the table. We need to be open to everything. The message to the fans is we're disappointed. They should be disappointed. The current team did not win at the level that we thought it should, and we need to make some changes because we're not winning as is. We might as well try something else.
We'll have more from Larry Beinfest on Marlins Live. We'll also have the reaction of Anibal Sanchez and of Omar Infante. For now, the task at hand for Miami is protect a 2-0 lead. And for Mike Dunn, it's try to, I guess, continue the work of Josh Johnson. And I said it earlier, it's ironic that on the night where Omar Infante is traded to the Tigers, Dan Uggla's in the house. I guess it's only fitting that Mike Dunn pitches in the game as well.
And he's pitched well. He pitched well in Pittsburgh. And I think the one thing, if you're the opposition, and I've seen this happen many times, and you have a guy out there just absolutely dealing the way Josh Johnson was against you, if you're the Braves right now, it really doesn't matter who you bring in. You're just happy to see someone other than Josh Johnson. So a lot of times with a finger problem, a blister problem, you want to try to stop it quickly so it doesn't get worse. So you can see the frustration in JJ. The way he was pitching, he wanted to continue on. You want him to be able to make his next start. So you don't want him to stay out there and have that thing get worse. Looks like Sean Cunningham talking things over with Randy St. Clair.
So disappointing that he's out, but watching him throw the 6 innings, he was brilliant tonight. 9 strikeouts, just 1 hit. Martin Prado, Jason Hayward, and Chipper Jones. And so Dunn comes in too at the heart of the lineup for the Braves. Prado having a very solid year. One of the keys for the Braves offensively is the fact that the 2 guys at the top of their order, Michael Bourne and Martin Prado, are both hitting over 300, both getting on base at over 350. Prado, his on base percentage 365 coming in.
Well, right now, Ozzy's just going to have to piece this thing together. So he brought in Dunn because he has Hayward after Prado, and then he'll get Chipper back over on the other side, and then another lefty in Freeman.
Well, that was a bit embarrassing, but it happens to the best of hitters. You catch your spikes, you take a tumble.
Usually it happens to guys like a Richie Sexson or a Dave Kingman, a big guy who takes a huge cut. Not a Martin Prado, but look at that the back foot.
Oh, this is no fair in Foxmo.
Yeah, the back foot catches, the balance goes. You might as well just lay down.
I think as well, if you watch that in Foxmo, that last ill-fated step, he stepped on home plate, and sometimes your spikes will slip on home plate.
That.
Done with the count 2-2. Prado reaches out and hits that breaking ball up into the seats.
Prado with 2 strikes is going to swing at anything close. Tough guy to strike out, a tough guy to walk.
In fact, Prado is the 8th toughest to strike out in the National League. Carlos Lee still on top of that list. Liner to right, tailing, and foul.
You can always watch when a hitter hits a ball in that direction. You can watch him run up the line because he has the best sight of anybody. And as soon as he breaks his stride and breaks it down, you know it's going to go foul because he sees it slicing foul.
And every now and then, you'll see a hitter who never got started to break it down and has to get it going because it ends up landing fair.
The other thing about making the change, and in this case Ozzie had to, you make the change to the bullpen, all of a sudden the pace changes a little bit because you have a different pitcher out there.
9th pitch of the at-bat. And Dunn walks him. So here's Hayward and Dunn.
And, of course, the crowd that's here, they're trying to figure out why Josh Johnson isn't in the game anymore.
Hayward's 0 for 2, but obviously those ABs against Josh Johnson. Dunn trying to show his old team his new self, which is a guy that, as we've seen in his 3rd stint with the Fish this year, has dialed it down a little bit, and in his words is pitching to location instead of pitching to the radar gun.
And to do all that against his former team is even a little harder.
Fastball for a strike. It's 1-1. Warren Henry fox tracks. That one right on the black. Phillies are losing to Milwaukee 6-2 in the bottom of the 5th in Philly.
That was a Roy Halladay start off the disabled list, and not a good one for the good doctor. 5 innings, he gave up 8 hits and 6 runs to the Brewers.
Nationals and Mets in New York, 2-1 Nationals, bottom of the 6th. Hayward waits. He swings and misses at a breaking ball. 2-2. Jason Hayward
having a better year
than
the last year.
Sophomore slump of last year. He had shoulder issues. He's about to turn 23. On August 9th. Got a breaking ball and hit it hard left center field and deep in the gap. Morrison has it. Romo in full flight. I did not think he was going to get there.
Well, a nice glove bump from Ruggiano, and he did get there. You know, he's a left fielder that's just continuing to learn. Yeah, he works at it, doesn't have blazing speed, but you know what? He took a real good route to get to that ball and was able to make the catch.
Boy, Hayward hit that ball well to the opposite field. Now Doug goes to work on Chipper Jones. Jones from the other side of the plate not only struck out twice, but didn't look all that good doing it. And if there's any barometer to gauge how good Josh Johnson was tonight, as Tommy pointed out, all you had to do is look at the swings of Chipper Jones. And it will be interesting tomorrow during batting practice around the cage to ask Chipper Jones how JJ was throwing.
I'm sure he'll give us glowing reports, too. Chipper Jones now number 3 on the all-time list as far as home runs by a switch hitter. Number 2, RBIs by a switch hitter. Only switch hitter with more RBIs is Eddie Murray.
RBIs as a third baseman?
Number 1.
Thank you.
Passing some pretty good names: Eddie Matthews, Mike Schmidt, and George Brett.
Count is 2-1. One thing about the trade tonight, the two guys involved in the trade, you see Edward Mujica down in the bullpen, the trade that was rumored, I guess, what, 3-4 days ago with the Boston Red Sox, had Hanley Ramirez and Heath Bell going to Boston for Carl Crawford. Today, there was a rumor that the Red Sox were targeting Josh Johnson and Anibal Sanchez. I would be absolutely floored if the Marlins traded Josh Johnson.
I would absolutely be floored, too. You know, you got him for another year on his contract. You've seen him progress this year after the shoulder problems last year. Yeah, I would be shocked.
And as you noted, many fans' reaction will be, well, why don't you trade the guys that the Marlins don't want? And the easy answer to that is because other teams don't covet those players either. However, you can still trade guys like that. The deal that you have to make, though, is you have to take on either salary or players that the other team would like to unload.
That's why the Hanley, Heath Bell for Carl Crawford thing kind of had some interest, because obviously Carl Crawford's owed a lot of money and has been a disappointment early in the contract to the Red Sox.
Chipper Jones, Mike Dunn, this is the third hitter that he's faced. Remember, he walked Prado. This is his 20th pitch already. Jones, a high pop. Out goes Bonifacio. And Kearns is there and makes the catch. You can visit the Marlins homepage on foxsportsflorida.com and vote today on the Cleveland Clinic Florida Community Poll question.
Well, that's the reason that Ozzie brought in the lefty Mike Dunn. He's got a couple of outs, and he still has 2 more left-handers, Freddie Freeman and then Brian McCann.
Freeman is bounced out and struck out. The community poll on the foxsportsflorida.com webpage, Tommy. Who will lead the Marlins in wins this year? Mark Burley, Ricky Nolasco, Josh Johnson, or Anibal Sanchez? Obviously, that poll posted before the trade was made.
We'll have to eliminate Anibal.
Burley and Nolasco. Burley at 9-9.
Got a great matchup, speaking of Mark Burley, tomorrow night. Mark Burley against Tim Hudson.
Nolasco at 8-8. Josh Johnson, if the bullpen can hold this lead, would pick up win number 6.
So tomorrow night, a couple of guys who get it and throw it and don't waste a whole lot of time in between.
That's it. One-0 pitch, a high pop-up that is out of play. From the clubhouse, the report on Josh Johnson is that he left the game for precautionary reasons with a skin irritation on the right middle finger and is expected to make his next start.
So that's a better diagnosis than a blister. And the news that he should make his next start, that's good too.
Out into left center, Ruggiano charging in and makes the catch. Mike Dunn handles the 7th. 2-0 Miami. Check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, Rich, thank you very much. I'm with Dr. Juan Suarez from the Cleveland Clinic, orthopedic surgeon there. And he had the pleasure of throwing out the first pitch in this game, Doctor, and a pretty good pitch. How'd it feel?
That was pretty cool. I was kind of nervous, but I think I did okay.
You did about as well as just about anybody you see out here. We'll just sit down here for the first pitch. But is there any advice out there for the weekend warrior, athletes that go out there in the weekend softball league and baseball to try and stay fit?
Well, I mean, usually people and mostly weekend warriors, they don't stretch or have an exercise routine. So it's always important to do some stretching and have a good routine of exercise to avoid any injuries.
I was talking to Giancarlo Stanton today, Doc, and of course he had the loose bodies removed 2 weeks ago. Although you didn't do the surgery, obviously, Dr. Kaplan did that down at the University of Miami. But how has the technology changed for that kind of surgery? And the Marlins are very optimistic to come back fairly shortly.
Yeah, I don't have the details, but I think that now we have less invasive techniques and expedited rehabilitation programs that get the players back in the field sooner than we used to.
And I know one of the things he said to me, what do they say, about 4 weeks? And yes, the Marlins did say 4 to 6 weeks. That always is dependent on how the rehab goes, but that's different than it used to be.
Well, yeah, now we have accelerated rehab programs, and they get the strength and the agility of the players back sooner, and that way they can return to the field sooner.
All right, good talking to you, Doctor.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Dr. Juan Suarez at the Cleveland Clinic. Guys, let's go back up to you.
All right, thank you. Logan Morrison strikes out. Batting practice today gave us a glimpse and a hope. A little early batting practice for Giancarlo Stanton.
Well, that's good to see. I know he started a few days ago hitting off a tee, some light toss, and then Hanley was able to take some batting practice too. We haven't talked much about Hanley tonight. We did mention before the game he is available to pinch hit, and as Ozzie said, we'll be in the lineup tomorrow.
Hayward is in, and he makes the catch on the pop-up by Bonifacio. One thing we haven't explored with all the trade talk with Infante and Anibal Sanchez departing, the Marlins are short an arm and short a position player.
Yeah, the arm will take care of itself when his spot comes up to start, which would have been this weekend against the Padres. Could be Wade LeBlanc. Notice how I'm saying LeBlanc now.
Oh, no. So now you're Cajun, huh?
I like Cajun food. So. But it could be him. But you are right as far as a position player.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. There's a tapper towards short. Paul Giannis throws him out. When we get back, Craig Minervini will have more on that. 2-0 Miami after 7. It's a rule.
Absolutely.
It's mandated. It's FCC.
What do you say, Grandpa? How you doing tonight?
The little red car will wake him up. Just for good measure. Tim Hudson, Mark Burley. That is tomorrow. And those are your starting pitchers. Burley pitched better than his record. See, the ERA is actually a lot lower than Tim Hudson's. All right, we were talking about who's going to replace whom. Craig Minervini had a chance to talk to Larry Beinfest. Craig, can you shed some light?
Yeah, you guys are right on. For the short term, Larry alluded to Wade LeBlanc being in that slot, although he did defer to Ozzie as well to make that decision. So they're not locked in on it. But he also said, when I asked him about Jacob Turner and when he thought he might be here, they're hoping it's a very short trip, get used to the organization a bit in AAA, maybe even as a couple of starts, 2-3 starts. Things go well there. He's already pitched at the level. In fact, he won against Chicago on Sunday, his first major league win. So it sounded like Turner's not going to be in AAA long. That's the plan, at least. And he could be that guy then, depending on what else happens before the waiver. I talked to Giancarlo today, too, guys. He said he's surprised he feels as good as he does 2 weeks later, but didn't lock in on any timetable at all. But he did hit, and then he's going to eventually get on a running program. And once that starts to kick in, maybe he'll make that shorter 4-week timetable that the Marlins were hoping for on the short side.
It's the thing Ozzie addressed before the game. He talked about you don't want to get too excited because he still has baseball activities to do along with the hitting, running, turning, shagging the outfield, making plays. So there are a lot of things to do, but you'd like to see it on the short end of the 4 to 6 weeks.
When did that term start in the game? Did it start whenever when you heard the term throwing off flat ground? You never used to hear the term, well, we've started him doing baseball activities.
No, you just started.
Edward Mujica and Randy Choate.
Now, Dunn is just here, I'm sure, to face McCann, the left-handed batter. However, Freddie Gonzalez has a couple of left-handed bats on his bench. Eric Hinsky for one and Juan Francisco the other.
Mike Dunn did not give up a hit in the 7th. The Braves' only hit from Brian McCann. Josh Johnson, 6 innings, a hit, 9 strikeouts, no runs, no walks, 1 blister, or skin irritation on the right middle finger, if you will. Another line drive to right. This one is hooked foul.
Tell you one thing, Mike Dunn has gotten his work in throwing to this his 5th batter. He's closing in on 30 pitches.
McCann takes down low.
This is where you have to go after a hitter. If you lose him, the tying run comes to the plate.
He lost him. And not only is it the tying run, but it's a guy that can pop it out of the park in Dan Uggla. And Ozzie Guillen pops out. Now, Oz doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility. Scott Cousins is coming out of the dugout. And this is going to be a double switch. Cousins going to go to center. Ruggiano's going to go to right. Ruggiano is actually pointing Cousins over to right and say, you go to right.
I'm just starting to get used to it out here.
But Ozzie arrives on the mound. Marlins go into the bullpen, and we'll step aside. Bring the tying run to the plate, especially as you see Scott Cousins in center field. Reluctantly, Justin Ruggiano moved to right, especially when it's a guy like Dan Uggla who could do something like this. The last time Uggla was in this ballpark, remember this Titanic blast.
Yeah, off Chad Godin. A sunshine ball. Hit it off the sun on the home run sculpture.
So it's Uggla against Edward Mujica. McCann's at first. And Uggla fouls it over the screen. There's Ruggiano. Reluctantly, he moved over to right field.
Didn't have to change gloves to do it. They're the numbers on Mujica. Spent some time on the disabled list. Covers with a little toe fracture.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. I'm not sure if that was a regular fastball or if he took something off.
I got two-seamer. He ran inside. His regular fastball is a little harder.
That was 89 miles an hour. And he gets him at 91 miles an hour. Uggla strikes out.
And Mujica's splitter is usually not as hard as 89. So whatever, it worked. It was effective, and so was that fastball.
You were talking about the left-handed bats that Freddie Gonzalez had. And this is a bat that just arrived. And boy, did he light the fish up last year. Jose Costanza. He was hitting like 500 against the Marlins. Ozzie Guillen's on his way out. And he's going to bring Randy Choate in. So Costanza Mujica out, Choate in. 2-0 Miami. One out. A cavalcade of pitchers for Miami.
And a cavalcade of pinch hitters.
All the stops being pulled out at this point in time. So Jose Costanza with a brief cameo appearance. He'll get Major League Service time for that. And Tyler Pastornicki, who has also played some time at shortstop, though had his defensive difficulties earlier in the season. Pastornicki is up. And he'll face Randy Choate. Randy Choate catches the outside corner and gets a strike. David Ross, good player, is on deck.
Well, you think how managers have to try to maneuver their way throughout an inning, and that's what Ozzie and Freddie Gonzalez trying to do here in this 8th inning.
And you've got Heath Bell up with Ross, the right-handed bat, on deck. Choate gets another strike. It's 1-2. Swing and a miss. Choate gets the strikeout. Now we wait to see if Ozzie will make a change with David Ross announced. Well, Ozzie looks at his scorecard and ponders that. A reminder, you still have a chance to join in on the fun. Log on to JiffyLubeMarlins.com for your chance to enter the Play Catch with Lomo sweepstakes. 2 lucky winners will be selected to play catch with Morrison prior to the game on July 27th. Jiffy Lube, official oil change of the Miami Marlins.
It's one of those moves that a manager gets a feeling for. Maybe if Choate had thrown differently to Pasternicki, Ozzie may have gone to the bullpen when Ross was announced, but he's decided to stay with Randy Choate. And just in case, you have Michael Bourne, the left-handed hitter, on deck.
David Ross has 5 home runs.
David Ross, over the years, has been one of those excellent backup catchers.
Medlin and O'Flaherty. Chris Medlin, good to see him back in the big leagues after arm surgery. Ball and a strike. Ross, the Tallahassee native, has made a very good living in the big leagues. Dodgers, Pirates, Padres, Reds, Red Sox, Braves. I guess you could throw Auburn and Florida in there as well, going to the College World Series with both. Maybe he went and watched Randy Choate pitch at Florida State while he was back home in Tallahassee. Fell back and out of play.
They might have played a weekend series or maybe a midweek game.
One and two. And he got him. Randy Choate strikes out a pair of right-handed bats. How about that? And Choate finishes the 8th. And so far, 3 arms have protected the lead for Josh Johnson. 2-0. Miami on top of Atlanta. Toyota trend. Atlanta leading the season series. They've won 4 of 5. And they have walloped the Fish so far, 32-11. But tonight, Josh Johnson was outstanding. Tyler Pasternicki is going to stay in the ball game, and he's at shortstop. Chris Medlin comes in. Marlins bullpen has picked J.J. up for 2 innings. It'll be interesting to see who's warming up here in the bottom of the 8th down in the Marlins bullpen. If it's Heath Bell or Steve Cishek.
Medlin, a guy a couple of years ago, did a real nice job for the Braves. Out of the bullpen and starting. He started 14 times. But good ERA. Good stuff. Good fastball. Very good changeup.
John Buck with a fly ball to right.
Gets John Buck with the breaking ball.
Hayward comes in. 0 for 3 is Buck tonight. You can take the Marlins or your favorite Major League team wherever you go. If you travel much, you've got to have the At the Ballpark app. Any Major League ballpark, Marlins Park, Turner Field, Nationals Park, with the At the Ballpark app for iPhone or Android, place your food order and you'll receive a text message when your order is ready, tell you where to go pick it up. Go to Marlins.com, download At the Ballpark now. It's not a order, it's merely a suggestion. Here is Scott Cousins. He takes outside. Now, if you look at the start of the Braves' 9th, Michael Bourne leads off. You might leave Randy Choate in for a hitter.
Yeah, it depends on how you want to work Steve Cishek. If you feel more comfortable starting him in the inning to begin it, or if you don't mind bringing him in with 1 out, or maybe even with Bourne on first base. So a lot of it depends on that.
Got Cousins' first AB of the night, and he bounces out to Uggla. Yeah, the pitcher spot for Miami is buried in Austin Kern's position. Not up for a while, so it gives Ozzie flexibility. Here's Reyes, who was 1 for 3. 2 runs, 6 hits for Miami. No runs, 1 hit for the Braves.
How about as we just left Pittsburgh, you kind of keep your eye on the Pirates. They're losing 1-0 in the 8th inning to Jeff Smarja, who's given up just 1 hit. The Cubs have just 2.
Reyes taking a page out of Bonifacio's play. Look at Reyes raising his arms up. He got it by Chipper Jones. Those two have gone to war a lot.
Yeah, that's the slap style bunt. Get it by the third baseman. If the third baseman comes in too far, you have a good shot to do that.
The aging third baseman.
Yeah. And once it's in the hands of the shortstop, Pasternicki has no chance. Jose Reyes with 4 bunt hits this year. And a 2-hit night tonight to extend his hitting streak to 11.
Reyes a little closer than he'd like. Strike to Donovan Solano. Marlins got a run in the first. Solano was part of it with a hit and run single that moved Reyes up from first to third, and he scored on a Carlos Lee base hit.
With 2 out in this situation, you certainly don't want Jose Reyes to waste any time in trying to steal and get into scoring position.
Medlin, a hard thrower, was in the rotation before he hurt his elbow. Reyes is running. Liner into right. Another base hit for Solano. Reyes on his way to third. Hayward shows off the arm. Donovan Solano with 2 hits tonight. Miami trying to add some insurance in the bottom of the 8th.
Nice little combo. Remember back in the first inning with Reyes on the move, Solano found that hole on the right side. Same thing here. Big opening on the right side. There goes Reyes. All kinds of room out in that area. Strong arm by Hayward, but because Reyes was moving, no chance to get him at third. Good hitting by Donovan Solano.
Now Carlos Lee with 2 outs. Medlin throws a strike. Chris Medlin. Solano's running. Pitches in, and McCann will eat it. Solano's got a stolen base. His second in the big leagues. He's a guy, too, Tommy, that will be affected by the loss of Omar Infante to the Tigers. We talked about Bonifacio coming in from center to play second. There probably will be games where Bonifacio will go out to center and Solano will play center.
Yeah, lots of double switches, so it allows Ozzie to get Solano in the game. He's got great instincts. Very good instincts.
1-1.
And here are those situations that the Marlins obtained Carlos Lee to try to get some runs, drive runs in. This would be a couple of huge runs to give that bullpen a little more padding.
The one thing that the Marlins have seen, though, is that pitchers in spots like this, and the Marlins haven't put Lee in a lot of these spots, the chance to drive in a run. Pitchers have been very cautious with Lee. They've pitched around him.
Yeah, he may not see a whole lot to hit.
Joey Cora was talking for the ball game about Lee. Ruggiano is slotted behind him. It's been Logan Morrison for the most part behind him. But as Cora and Ozzie Guillen will tell you, the master plan was Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton.
Then Logan Morrison or Ruggiano.
With Stanton taking batting practice today, that's a good sign that maybe he comes out closer to the 4 rather than the 6 in the 4 to 6 weeks. 2-2. Lee, a sharp ground ball third. Chipper drops it, picks it up. He's got plenty of time. He knows how fast Carlos Lee is, and he throws him out. Marlins lead 2 on to the 9th. 2-0 Miami. Marlins Live, brought to you by Checkers. He immediately follows. There he is, Cliff Floyd, shaking hands, kissing babies, getting ready. And, of course, after the ballgame, it's extensive coverage of the Marlins trade with the Tigers. We'll have Larry Beinfest, Omar Infante, Anibal Sanchez, and show you just how dominant Josh Johnson was in 6 innings. 9 strikeouts, 1 hit, and he left with irritation on his right middle finger.
And that's the only hit the Braves have tonight, a 5th inning single, 2-out single by Brian McCann.
As suspected, Randy Choate to start the 9th.
And the reason Ozzie feels comfortable doing this early in the year and for a good part of the year, he's brought Cishek into games in the middle of innings.
So I think when you mix and match with a closer, I think that's the way you do it. You mix and match in the 9th inning instead of saying, all right, you're going to be my 9th inning guy today.
You're not going to get an argument from me.
Almost hit him. Now, let me ask you this. Oh, wise one. If Choate gets Bourne,
I see where you're going.
Would you leave him in to face Prado because you've got Hayward?
You got Hayward,
him?
Chipper the other side, Freeman, McCann. It's a good point. But my answer would be probably not. You have Cishek up for a reason.
Joey Cora, Ozzie Guillen, Randy St. Clair. They may be discussing that very thought.
Yeah, and then again, it's one of those feelings you get as the game goes on, as each pitch, as each out is recorded.
Choate has struck out the 2 hitters he's faced, and they've both been right-handed bats. Now he finally gets a lefty. Bourne flips one into left center field. That's going to fall. Base hit. Cousins picks it up. Bourne will stop it first, and that probably answers all questions. Now that you've got the tying run coming to the plate, Martin Prado, Ozzie's going to go to the pen. So Choate, he got the right-handed bats, but the lefty, Michael Bourne, leads off the 9th with a base hit. Cishek. Atlanta has just 2 hits, but they have the tying run at the plate, and in the 9th, there's nobody out. Steve Cishek gets Martin Prado, Jason Hayward, and Chipper Jones.
Not an easy assignment. You'll probably see Bourne take off, try to steal a base. He has 28 stolen bases on the year.
Miami trying to snap a 5-game losing streak, one that has seen them dip a season low 7 under the 500 mark.
been an interesting run for the Braves too, Rich. They've played .500 baseball at home. They're 24-24 at home, but on the road coming into this game 28-19. They've played much better away from Turner Field.
Buenanote Prado has flied out, struck out, walked.
And I think if you're Cishek, you can't concern yourself too much with Bourne.
Ground ball up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Bourne holds at second base. Cishek falls off the mound towards the first base side. If he was one of those pitchers that squared up after he delivered it, that had the potential to be a double play ball.
See how he fouls off, tries to reach back, but the ball directly over the mound. Fielding his position is not one of Cishek's strong points. But a base hit by Prado, and now he really gets himself in a jam.
Closing games, to put it lightly, has been a nightmare for Miami this year. Cishek misses away.
Michael Bourne, Rich, at second base, becomes the first Brave to reach scoring position tonight.
That's how dominant Josh Johnson was. Mike Dunn an inning. Mujica got an out. Choate a pair of outs. But Choate gave up the leadoff single to Bourne in the ninth. Cishek has given up the hit to Prado. Here's Hayward. And a breaking ball misses low and inside. Wade LeBlanc is up in the bullpen. Ozzie wasn't kidding when he said by committee and piece it together. Dunn, Mujica, Choate, Cishek, and maybe a guy who's about to step into the rotation in a few days, maybe Wade LeBlanc. We have good speed out there with Bourne and Prado. Cishek's 2-0 pitch. There's a roller. Might be two. Bonifacio Reyes. Double play. Got him at first. Freddie Gonzalez sprinting out of the dugout. And the Braves manager about to arrive with Laz Diaz at first base.
Because Bonifacio hasn't played a lot at second base, you can see the timing not quite there, as we've seen with Infante and Reyes. The naked eye tells me that Freddie might have a beef at first base because Reyes got the feed a little late from Bonifacio. I think Freddie was telling Laz Diaz he messed up.
Well, you said it. Bang, bang play, but from the naked eye, it looked like he beat the throw.
Now watch how the timing isn't quite there with Bonifacio, who hasn't been at second base a whole lot this year. A little bit. And give Hayward credit. He got up the line in a hurry. Let's check it out. This is a great view. Freddie Gonzalez had a real good beef.
He beat it, but one observation on that replay. Carlos Lee is not an experienced first baseman, and he has a tendency to stretch out with his feet, but not his glove. If you watch that replay again, Lee is stretched, but he keeps the glove in by his body.
I think he feels more comfortable catching the ball that way.
It's a guy who's played in the outfield almost his entire career. He did play at first this year with Houston. Now Chipper Jones fouls it at the plate. Watch Lee.
You would expect that glove to be 6 inches or more out, and it's not.
Which would have made the play closer, although I think Hayward still probably beats it. Now Cishek trying to get Chipper Jones with 2 outs, and a breaking ball misses outside. And it's 2-1. Jones struck out twice against Josh Johnson. Bourne, the lone remaining Brave on base, and Jones flips it foul. So a big turn of events. Miami, with the Keith Bell experience going sideways on him, has turned to closer by committee. And Ozzie Guillen really is mixed and matched with Dunn, Mujica, and Choate in the 8th. Choate and Cishek here in the 9th. Again, Jones holding up on that breaking ball. It's out, and the count's 3-2.
Cishek trying to get save number 3.
The Marlins get a big break on the call at first. Cishek, 3-2 coming. Liner into right, and it falls for a hit. The Braves have a run. Chipper Jones. And here comes Freeman. Now, does Ozzie go get LeBlanc to face the lefty Freeman?
No, I don't think so. He's thinking about it, but I don't think so. By the way, for Chipper Jones, RBI number 163 in his career against the Marlins. So of his 1,600 plus RBIs, 163 against the Marlins.
So here's Freeman, and remember, on deck another lefty, and a hot lefty in McCann. Both Freeman and McCann have really been swinging it. Freeman 0 for 3, McCann 1 for 2 in the ball game tonight. So LeBlanc's ready. Cishek to the plate. Ball and a strike. Cishek, Freeman, remember the sequence in the 8th inning when Freddie Gonzalez burned Jose Constanza, brought in Pasternicki, pinch hit Ross. If he doesn't do that, he probably pinch runs for Chipper Jones at first base right now. Two-one breaking ball is a strike.
Good pitch on a 2-1 pitch.
Cishek ready. 2-2 coming. Freeman pulls it foul. So Freddie Gonzalez has been ejected. Carlos Tosca
turning it over to his good buddy, also with Freddie and the Marlins, Carlos Tosca.
It's a good at bat.
Yeah, Freeman just fighting off a good fastball by Cishek.
Cishek 25, Falmouth, Massachusetts. In the air, center, Reyes out, Cousins in, and Cousins slides and makes the catch. Ball game. Boy, if he doesn't catch that ball and it bounces away from him, this game might be tied. As it is, Miami wins the first of the 3-game set. 4 relievers pick up Josh Johnson, who leaves with an irritation on his middle finger after 6 one-hit innings. And it ends up 2-1, Marlins winning it. The Braves finally get some hits. They get 4 of them, but Scott Cousins finishes the game with a flourish.